Cause I'm a big against the world, my girl, my best friend. I sleep in south and chill in the west.
Hi, my name is AZ, and I'm happy today to give you my honest, unbiased opinion about BaloSegha accommodations. I can categorically tell you from my own personal experience that when it comes to getting an affordable and good quality, accommodation that you really be comfortable in, BaloSegha is the best in the game. I can tell you this with my full chest. So I'm going to give you the reasons why I say so. So let's start with the location. Like I've lived in BaloSegha for at two different occasions. The first time was during my Samson Academy, where I lived in the Burberry house for um, a month. So the Burberry house is 12 minutes bus ride to Samson. So you need to walk 5 minutes to the bus stop to take bus 75 or bus 74 to the bus stop, which will be 12 minutes bus ride to Samson. So it's kind of very cool. And the location is very clean. It's in a very clean place, like what we call the GRA you know, in Nigeria. If you're Nigerian, you know. So, and yeah, that's for Burberry. Then the second time when I went back for my plaque too, I had to go like 2 weeks earlier so that I can do some practice. So this time around, I lived 3 weeks at the Liverpool house. So putting it all together, so this is me living with BaloSegha for like 2 whole months. So yeah, I can tell you so much about them. 2 months is a long time to know if a company is good or bad. So now let's talk about the amenities in the accommodation. So they have mannequins, like very good mannequins, not torso, not half, not just hand. They have full mannequins, very good mannequins that you could use for practice, for simulations, for cannulations, ABG, whatever you want to use it for, you can use it. Um, you can use the mannequins, and then there will be other people in the accommodation that you would practice with. Then in the Burberry house, they had the BNF, so that's a plus. So and we all know how important BNF is when it comes to practicing prescription. But in the Liverpool house, it's a new accommodation as when I was staying, so they didn't have the BNF, but I'm sure that they are working towards getting a BNF in the Liverpool house as well. So that's for that. Then the kitchen, they have a very nice kitchen, very spacious, with all the utensils that you need for cooking. Yeah, it's really comfortable for cooking, and then they have a big refrigerator in the Liverpool house that it's enough for everybody in the house. Then at the Burberry house, they even have two refrigerators there, so it's enough space for everybody. Now let's talk about the rooms. The rooms are really, really spacious. They have single rooms, and then they have double rooms where you have to share the room with someone. But trust me, even when you need to share the room with someone, they are really spacious and they are very, very comfortable. So this is not like putting you in a cubicle. No, they are really, really spacious, you know. And the bathrooms are also spacious as well. Oh, now let's talk about the neatness. That's my favorite part. The neatness in BaloSegha is second to none. It's my favorite part of living in that, apartment. They have a cleaner. The guy does the job. When someone loves what he does and he put his entire mind towards doing it. Yeah. So he keeps the house very, very clean. Though he comes once in a week to clean, but when he comes, he makes sure everywhere is clean. Come on, we are not kids that you need someone to come and be cleaning your room every day. You don't go about littering a public public accommodation that you are sharing with others. You should be responsible enough to keep it clean, because the cleaner is doing a good job. So doing your own is not such a big deal. So if you are living with very understanding housemates, trust me, you would have no reason to complain about neatness there. But sometimes some people can really, really be annoying. Some other guests, they can be annoying, wanting to litter the whole kitchen. But if you have understanding, housemate, trust me, neatness is second to none in that place. So yeah, the bathrooms are very, very clean, no funny.
Are you anything like me? You worked hard at school, you got a good first degree, you got a job. I'm an engineer. I don't know what you are.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You are welcome to the June 2023 question and answer. My name is BaloSegha, and I welcome you to BaloSegha's Q&A, June 2023 Q&A. I have here with me my brother and business partner, Shaya Balogun Doctor, as a consultant, and he will say a few things if he's soon. I also have Victoria Lasega, my lovely wife, who we all came together to start this family a few years ago. This for anyone who is new, this is a monthly program we do where we say you could ask any question of any kind. We will do our best to answer them or direct you to where and how to get the answers. It can range from anything, GMC registration, it can be new in the UK, it can be whatever question. We will do our best to try as much as possible to answer the question. And you can also get more answers and previous videos of the BaloSegha programs we've done. We've done loads of Q&As, started from February last year. We've done quarterly programs, do's and don'ts of GMC registration, how to nail your interview, how to get NHS jobs. We've also done one very important one we did last month, medical legal, which is the very first one we do. We aim to do it maybe once a year or thereabouts, or twice a year, because it was very essential. We had a very, very large full house, about 300 people came in to listen to the whole thing, which, we'll say much more on that soon. So you could log on to our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube, BaloSegha, subscribe so that whatever we drop there, which we do regularly, you will definitely get hold of that. As we do here, we always encourage anyone to ask questions. How we ask questions is drop any question in the chat. There is no wrong question, honestly. and there's no foolish question. Let's be real. It is ask whatever question you do not know about. You do not know until you know, and don't assume that if I ask, some people will laugh at you. Let them laugh. Don't worry. Just ask, because what you know might just be your breakthrough to wherever you want to go to. I'm seeing some names which you see quite regularly. So welcome, Ifijaja. You're wonderful. You know, it's good to have you here again. Adeshawa, it's good to have you. And so we just want to say thank you. I'll invite Cher to say a few things and kickstart this whole thing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bobby. My name is Olusha Balogun. A lot of people call me Balone. That's my nickname from primary school. We've come about more than 3 years ago to start BaloSegha as PLAB accommodation, and over the years, it's kind of metamorphosed as the needs arose. So BaloSegha not only provides PLAB accommodation, but it's what club accommodation is what we're well known for. Now we provide accommodation to NES doctors because we found that it makes much sense for them to pay for the time they stay in the apartment. For example, NES doctor who does 2 weekly rotation, um, elsewhere will have to still pay a month rent. Having paid a month's rent, he spends half of the time in that property. And if he locums on his off days, he virtually not in the house. So we have come about in BaloSegha to say, just pay for the 2 weeks. And anytime you're leaving, you can always tell us when next you're back, and we block the place for you. And a few NEAs have found it very useful. They come again and again and again and again because they save half of the money. One of the adverts of BaloSegha you listen to, we have gotten BNF for the other houses now. So anyone who comes to our apartment would certainly get the BNF. Other things we do are, if you're applying for visa application, you can always see that you need a letter of support to the embassy, and that's what we're going to do. We have done a lot of educational courses. Victoria has dedicated a lot of her time on audit, and that audit has kind of been a game changer because most of the people who have watched it or subscribed to this audit course have gone to interview with the knowledge, and they talk confidently, and most time would have started something. Audits are simple, but no matter how simple it is, if you don't know much about it, they can easily floor you on that in any interview. I won't want to say too much right now. When the question comes, we can add it onto it. I welcome everybody once again to this question and answer. Thanks for being here. Thank you.
Hold on.
Bobby, over to you.
Yes. Hi. Jimmy, I'll call you back. Sorry, call came in. Yeah, thank you very much for that. We appreciate that. Like we said, if you have any questions, this is the time to start typing your questions in the chat room. You could drop your questions, whatever question it is. We'll be more than happy to take it from there. So yeah, just go ahead, drop your questions, and we'll take it from there. Thank you.
Okay, so there's one question that's come from Efe Jaja. Efe Jaja, Bobby, are you there?
Yes, please. Yeah.
All right, so I'll crack
You can
on
go
with
ahead
Efe
and yeah.
Yeah. Efe Jaja is asked a question, very important question. It says, your suggestion for good question one can ask at the end of an interview. So at the end of an interview, when I do interview practices for people, for doctors, I always say, there are no right and wrong answers, but the best that I think would make you look good is to ask them to say, what are your advice for me starting this job within the first 2 months? So first and foremost, it tells them that you're thinking ahead, you are already assuming you've gotten the job. And also, you are also asking them to give you JJC advice. What would be the advice? You don't want to ask the question that is already advertised, that's already within the advertisements. So they're going to look at you that, this guy is asking us about something we actually put on the advert. So you start to lose points there. And just ask one question. If they say, oh, ask as many as you can, just one question, and just leave it at that. And they will answer it the way they want. But you have shown them that you're thinking about the future, you see yourself in the job, and they will advise you likewise. Never talk about salary in interview. Never. Whatever they say, just downplay it and move to the next question. And another is tips for emergency medicine SHO interview. So for what you need to do is, you see, for interviews, it is not about the answers only. So Dr. A knows the answer, Dr. B knows the answer, but Dr. B can sell himself very well. So interview is about selling yourself. It is not something about, oh, the guy can, you can, he's very good with treating hyperkalemia. You'll be surprised in an interview, you may be asked just one or two clinical questions. The rest will be management. How do you deal with difficult colleagues? How do you deal with relative that is angry? How do you escalate things? Then at the end, they will now say, okay, for like emergency medicine, they say, how do you treat hyperkalemia? And even if you don't know the answer to the hyperkalemia, just categorize and say, it's an emergency, A, B, C, D, E, I'll do that. And then I will look for the cause of the thing. I will treat both the hyperkalemia and the cause. And they just want to see, are you a team player? So if you move all the stuff, you're not calling in cardiology, you're not calling renal physician, you're not involving your consultant, you're not asking for help from colleagues in A&E or staff nurses. It's just like, this guy is a one-man guy. We don't need such a person. And you have said everything correctly. And they say, we don't want this kind of guy. We want somebody who calls everybody to help. No matter how knowledgeable you are, you cannot do everything on your own. So those are my two tips. And interview questions for practices, because interviews are all about practices. You can always Google them. And if you need an interview practice, you can always contact BaloSegha@yahoo.com and we can arrange one for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Yeah, so I mean, truth is, interviews, like you said, you're meant to just sell yourself. Well, I'm not a doctor, but I have a business analyst background. When I go for interviews, and I mean, back in the days before when I was working for somebody, and I wouldn't have any question, I just look for something that is current. For example, how do this organization cope with the Brexit issues? Questions, things like that. For your case, if you don't have any question at all, but you just want to sound current, like he has just said, just look, these NHS issues of strikes, junior doctors, how has your department or your ward or whatever, been able to cope with that demand? They know you're current, just think of something at that line, So like you said, don't ask about money. So how much will you be paying me? Forget, you have dropped down the kid. You just in their mind, they press next button to the next person. That's not what you want. So yeah, just look for something current, and you'll be surprised. A question you ask, you were like, "Oh, how will I answer this?" You are safe, So yeah, that's a good one. Good. Thank you very much for that question, Ifijaja. Thank you so much. Any question, please just drop it in the chat room, and we'll take it from there.
While we're waiting for other questions, I would just like to reiterate this important fact. BaloSegha can do all he can medical legally, because I, for one, a lot of people are in my inboxes, doctors, GMC, some are facing panel, some are about to face panel, some are starting it. And you see, it also bothers me to say, what are we doing wrongly? How can we do it? So on that basis, BaloSegha organized the last talk because we look at things that are affecting us, majorly Nigerians, and see how can we help out. I've been in the UK over 13 years now. So if you mention hospital, I can almost always tell you. If I've never been there, I'll tell you somebody I kind of have done. There were days I used to do locums when I just arrived, but that's gone now. So the issue here is that a lot of things can be done in Nigeria. You should never try it in the UK. I didn't know ignorance is not an excuse in the law. And I keep repeating it to people. They say, I didn't know that I was going to be caught. I'm like, welcome to the UK. I always say to people whose insurance expired, they say, it was just the following day after it expired. I said, it doesn't say that. Whether it's the following day, whether it's 2 months after, it doesn't matter. And I always say to my friends, I say, if you drive out, just briefly, keep it in your mind to say, will I see one police officer? Most times, you will see a police officer, a police car. So what people don't know is inside that police car, there is, they call it AMPR, number plate recognition. So the way their number plate recognition works is, it scans every plate number it sees on the way, and it tells them whether you're insured or not. Unless they are on very important assignments, will your number plate flag red and they won't stop you. So maybe there's a criminal offense and the ANPR picks you up and say, no insurance, and they drive past. It's because they are important assignment. If they are going to buy food or they are just coming back from an important assignment and the flag's red, they say, caught one. They stop you, you're a doctor, extra wahala. First, your car, you start to pay big amount because wherever they stop you, that car cannot move again. It has to be towed. Once it's towed, free of charge, when you want to collect the money, that is when you'll be hearing 1,000. It will be 10 times more than the amount you didn't pay. And when the whole thing is over, then you have to report to GMC. So this kind of things happen a lot. And people tend to kind of think, oh, if I do locum on my sick days, they won't know. They have a way of knowing. Even if it's 2 years after, they will bring you back to justice. So this country, just respect yourself and keep it calm. There was a day I was booked for study leave. I went for the course. For some reason, something happened, the course was canceled. So that was a free day for me because it was a study day. As I was coming back, I used to work in Harley Street, private hospital in London, and they pay really well. They called me, oh, help us. I said in my mind, the devil is a liar. I said, can I call you back? I switched off the phone. I said, this temptation is bad. Call them back. I said, I'm not available. Don't call me again. You see, you can be tempted because they are going to pay you big amount. But then, who knows? Maybe one patient will then say, oh, he didn't treat me very well. Then they start investigating, he didn't treat, he was rude to patient, or even something else happened. And they said you should provide your own submission about the scenario. You are not the one guilty. Then it gets to your department. And I say, this was study day now. I will tell you a story about a doctor briefly. This doctor is white. He was F1, just started his career, and he was always calling in sick. The department didn't understand why. So they told his ES is educational supervisor. They told the educational supervisor, you need to talk to this child. He's calling in sick. So they called him and said, what's your problem? Do you have something that we don't know that you want us to help you with? You're calling in too often sick. So they had a plan to say, this is how we're going to take it off from now. Shortly after then, the guy called in sick again. So the department was going to escalate to say, there's a problem. But one Saturday, somebody in that department who had heard about that guy was scrolling through her TV station, and she scrolled to an Italian station, a Spanish station. So we are in UK, but she has scrolled through a Spanish station whilst. So she saw somebody who was running a commentary, and she said, this guy looks like my F1 doctor, very much like him. But this one is speaking Spanish. As soon as they wrote the guy's name as the commentator, it was the same guy. So she went to work and said, do you know this guy does commentary? Everybody say, yeah. So they went to get all the us commentary dates. They were the dates that guy was calling in sick. They struck him off. So that was the end of his career. So somehow they'll always get people. So let's go back to question and answer. I think some questions have come in.
Lovely. Somebody's typing actually, so we'll await the. Thank you very much for that. That was a good insight. We need to be very careful. Obviously, we need to be very careful. A few tips we like to give for anyone here who hasn't moved back to the UK yet, maybe to come and work. We usually advise a few little tips. If you still have your UK number, keep it safe. It's very good to very easy to communicate with at the airport. If you do not have your UK number, it's not a problem. Get one immediately you get to the airport. Latch on the free Wi-Fi at the airport for communication. Some people think I can find my way around and they get stuck and they get, jittery about this whole thing, etc. So those very little tips will help. We'll continue on the little tips. There's a question here from Jenny. It says, good evening. Please, is it wrong to accept a job offer you don't really have interest in, even when it is expected of you to go into further training after working in that field? For instance, if I'm interested in surgery training and I accept a pediatric offer for the sake of relocation, is it compulsory for you to start training in that pediatric? Over to you, Shay.
Okay, the answer is no. However, it's always good to try and get jobs where that fits you. The people who I would say any job doesn't matter is GP. So whether you go surgery or you go hematology or whatever, and you say in 6 months' time I'm going for GP practice, that's good. But if you are going for surgery and you pick up a job in peds, when you want to sell yourself for the next job or interview, then you may be found wanting, because they'll be saying, you're not even, in the last 6 months, you have not even done anything surgery. More so, if you are in the department you want, trust me, the UK network, they will know themselves. When I was applying for consultant job, the hospital I was working in wanted to appoint me. So I was weighing my options. And they kept on saying, we want you, don't go. For me, I was considering families, kids' school, and everything. But one thing I saw was when another hospital called me for interview, my ES will call me and say, all the best tomorrow. I said, now, wow, she knows the interview I'm going for tomorrow, even though I have not told her. So essentially, somebody somewhere would link up with somebody and say, this guy is coming to interview with us next week. What are your details? He said, this is a nice guy, he works hard. Then they will tell my ears that somebody called about your guy. He's going for interview. You are not doing your job. We say this guy should stay. So the ears will say, don't worry, I'll talk to him again. So she knew. So after a while, once I'm going for interview, I'll just text her to say, I'm going for interview next week. Because she would know whether I tell her or not. So if you're in surgery and you plan to continue training in surgery, it's the best. If you cannot get surgery and you can get ped surgery or something related to surgery, fine. But if you don't, it is what it is. Go for what you have and just make do of it. Sometimes in this NHS job, I'll give you, there are two peaks and troughs in the application. They would put up jobs for February and August. So towards February, they would start to reduce the intake because they know their own kids are coming in February. And towards August, it will drop. When you start getting to October, November, December, that's the highest. Everybody wants somebody, even if you don't have anything. They say, just come. We cannot even get, we have 5 spaces. We got 3 people turning up, unless they decide to say they don't want the job. But when you start getting to January, the jobs are reducing. So competition increases. You get to February, everywhere is filled up with the internal doctors. March, they'll be seeing the unfilled spaces because some hospitals will have spaces for maybe 10 doctors in a department, and the deanery says, I can only give you 7. So by March, it's clear in their face that we have 3 unfilled spots. Those are the trickles that come out February, March, April. And then it then climbs up again towards middle of the year again. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. That's a good one. So let's look into that. So as I was saying, we like to also give tidbits about very little things that are very important. Like I said, communication. If you're coming in, you don't have any UK number, you can get one at the airport. Very, very easy. You can also latch on to the free, any network, sorry, any airports in the UK, free Wi-Fi, because some people have issues, and they now use a taxi driver's number to call and to, we can't find this place, we can't find that place, those very little things. Again, when you start working, if you do not have a UK account, a advisable account you open, or the quick one you can open is all these Revolut. They are very quick. You can do it online on your phone. It doesn't take up to 10 minutes, at the most 10 minutes. And within 3, 4, 5 working days, they send you your card. So then you can get your salary paid into that account. If you go for the mainstream accounts of bank, like the Lloyds and Halifax and Co., they tell you to bring many things. And one of the things they tell you to bring is your pay slip. But your money needs to be paid somewhere. So you can't get your pay slip before that. So it takes a long process because they'll tell you, bring this, bring that, bring that. Or if you do Revolut, very importantly, if you're doing Tide, do it personal. Don't do business. If you do business, they'll tell you to go and bring tax and all those things that people get stuck. What kind of nonsense is this? So those very little things are very, very, very important as well. So whatever tidbits we have, we'll also share with us. Again, whilst we are still waiting for any questions, we are on other social media platforms. You can follow us on IG. That is our ID handle there. IG handle, sorry. You can follow us there. Twitter, on Facebook. We also have our YouTube channel, BaloSegha, where we have the video of all of our monthly events, which started February last year, over a year ago. You can just go there and subscribe so that you will get notifications immediately. We drop things which we drop from time to time. Again, next month, I don't know if everyone knows, we have our first ever BaloSegha Entertainment annual party, get together and all those things, which we couldn't do last year for some obvious reasons. Where it's going to take place on the 12th or 15th of July, next month, 15th of July, just like 3 weeks to come. It's going to be on a Saturday, 15th July, and it's going to be between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Sorry. We will send the invites and we'll drop it here before we go, so that you can have it, and you can also spread it around to friends, neighbors if you're in the UK, enemies. No, don't send to enemies, please. We don't want enemies. We just want friends. And basically just let's have a wonderful time. It's been a wonderful summer so far, and we hope it remains the same, you know, not too much rain if it has to rain. Hopefully it's not going to rain on that day. It's going to be wonderful, where will be lots of networking, you meet friends, food, drinks, music, chats. Just let's have fun. Let's have good fun. So it's just about 3 weeks away. If you know any friend, fellow BaloSeghites, Blabites, ex-Blabites, you know, doctor, new doctor you've met, if you're working in the UK, send to that person. Once you have the link, you please register on Eventbrite. Please register. The reason we say register is so that we'll know the amount of people we're expecting, and then we can plan forth. So again, another question is dropped in. Shaya, do you want to pick that up, please?
Is Victoria there? She's the expert on.
Oh yeah, Victoria, this is your field. Over to you, please.
Well, audits and quality improvement projects, like even if we had like an hour plus to talk about it, we won't be able to cover everything. But it is something that it's very good to have some understanding of before you come to work in the NHS. We are working on, so we have like a short audit video just to give you an overview of what audit is like on our YouTube page. And we are working on a course that will be available very soon to BaloSeghites and people who are interested in audits and learning about audits and quality improvement projects. But there is not, people usually think when they hear about it, they think it's something very difficult or complex, but it's not. Just once you have the understanding of it, it's something you can do. If you have not yet come to the UK, it's something that you can actually do before you arrive in the UK. So we'll be giving you more information on that as things go on. Um, sorry, Dr. Balogu, do you want to speak about the difference between supporting
No,
information?
go for it. Go for it.
Okay, so when making applications, well, you could, some people sometimes put their personal statements into the supporting information section as well. Like, oh, I'm a motivated individual, I'm disciplined, blah blah blah. Some people do it, but I think it's more useful to put things like, maybe if you've done like a leadership project, like prizes, if there are no things that you have achieved, that you have accomplished, that there is probably no space for you to put it when you are making your applications. So things that will boost you up, that would sell yourself, because that's one of the ways that you can sell yourself as well. But maybe there's no space for it in the application when you're writing. You can put that in supporting information as well. So I think that's a good idea to kind of beef up your application. Thank
Yeah,
you.
well done, Victoria. In addition to what she's explained beautifully, sometimes whilst you're reading through all the requirements for the hospital, there's something may just come up and say, oh, mentoring. The hospital has something, great networking for mentoring. And in all your application, there wasn't any way you could fit in mentoring. Then you slot it into supporting information and say, oh, I've also been involved in mentoring in the past, and I'm going to bring this experience to this hospital, and I'm going to work with this department of mentorship program, whatever, whatever. So that all those ones will go into your supporting information. Your personal statement is something you think is personal, and it's a way you sell yourself. This is what I have, and this is what I'm going to sell. You can write it the same for every application because it's your own personal thing. But supporting information can change from one hospital to the other based on what extra information you want to give them, or something you think, okay, I've answered it, but I think I still have more to tell them about. You can then put that under supporting information. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Good. I hope that satisfies your query, Jenny. Yeah, good question. Good question. And just very clear. Good. Just look out for this space. We will post something very soon on our 4-hour audit program. Very essential. We will come out with that very, very soon, and we will let us know once that is out. So if you have any question, with just a couple of minutes to round up, just quickly post whatever questions you have, if you do, and we'll be more than happy to take it from there, whatever questions you have. We're going to post the invite soon. Like we said, you please register. The reason is it's not because there will be bounce out the gates. No, we want to know, it will help us to plan for the amount of people coming. A couple of people have registered so far, and we want to know the amount of people so that we will plan ahead, and it will help us to plan ahead. And so we'll post the invite very soon, and we'll be more than happy to get your registrations sent in. If you have any questions, please go ahead and yeah, go ahead.
While we're waiting for more questions to come, I just want to implore everyone here today to also be an ambassador for BaloSegha. We have put in so much effort over the years, and we would like everyone to spread the message. We'll still get to see people who have never heard about BaloSegha. And sometimes we just kind of smile to say, well, that means we need to do more. I would say BaloSegha is for doctors, by doctors, for Nigerians, by Nigerians, even though we've gone global. But there were different things that have happened in the past. Nigeria got onto the red list at some point in time. The business almost crashed. So if you can always recommend people to BaloSegha, that would be very lovely. If you don't have the answer to their question, just tell them to send their messages or questions to balosegha@yahoo.com. We'll answer it. If they're on Instagram, they can always inbox us. One of the team members would answer the question. A particular question that always comes again and again and again is, how do I get to your apartment from the airport? And I always keep it simple. In the airport, there is free Wi-Fi. Put on the Wi-Fi, use your Uber, get a taxi from the airport to drop you. Some people would say, what about public transport? I bet you, if you take the public transport, you will be very stressed and you will spend the same amount. So it's not cheaper in the long run, that's all I'm saying. So Uber is we used to have a collaboration with a taxi company called Trinity. But after a while, we discovered that Uber was far cheaper than Trinity. So we stopped recommending Trinity to people, and we just say, just press Uber and put our address, and it will just tell you this is the amount, and that's what they're going to take from you. And you don't have to start hopping on the bus, pulling your luggages up and down. So yeah, and Bobby has already mentioned the bank account. Any bank account works in this country. If you go for Barclays, HSBC, they will ask you ridiculous documents. Monzo, you can open Monzo within 5 minutes, and it will do exactly the same job. So when you come for your exam, finish the exam, even before then, because they'll post you a letter or they'll send you something in the post, your card and everything. You can use our address in BaloSegha and you get your stuff. After the exam, the Indians are very good at this. They do the exam, and after the exam, they go for ALS courses in Manchester. So just one trip, they've done the PLAB, they've opened bank accounts, and they've done ALS course before going back home. And then when they come for interview, they look like, oh, like they've worked in the UK because they know how the emergency services work. I haven't attended ALS. ALS in the UK is different, I tell you. When I got there, when I had mine in 2013, a lot of things were new to me. And if you want to practice in the UK, you must be very slick with ALS. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that insight. So as you can see, we're sharing the annual BaloSegha Hangouts. It's on Saturday, the 15th of July. Like I said, it's about 3 weeks from now, and it's going to take place in one of our properties. We'll have a garden there, Deacon's house. That's the address. We will share the link as well. And if you don't have it, just let us know. We'll send it to you personally, and also share with others as well. Let's have fun together. Let's meet ourselves. Some people I've spoken to on phone. I've never met them. Some people I can't remember their faces. Let's get together again and meet one another. So we'll have 2-in-1 questions by Folabi. Thank you very much. Number one, it's taking long after PLAB 2 for one to get a job in the UK now. GMC is always asking for us to name our designated body. How do we go about this? Number two, what advice do you have for people who have been in the UK with gaps in clinical practice? Lovely questions. Over to you, Shea.
All right. So I'm sorry to hear that it's taking long after PLAB to get jobs. Like I said, there are peaks and troughs in the application pathway, application in the UK for jobs. But again, you cannot put everything down to that. You have to also look at yourself and say, am I presenting the good CV? When people tell me, oh, I've applied for 500 jobs, I just laugh. If you apply correctly, you cannot apply for more than 10. So if you're doing one copy and paste for jobs, you won't get the job because it's easy to quickly know that this person is doing copy and paste because there will be something out of sync to the job. So if you're not doing copy and paste, if you're sending a good CV, we don't write CV regularly in Nigeria. So when we are asked to write one, we may be shortchanging ourselves. CV is something you kind of modify like weekly. I'm a consultant now, and sometimes I still go to my CV, I take something off, I add some things, and I print it out, I give it to some people. What do you think can still be improved here? So you start changing things because at this stage, I'm now adding more of leadership skills because you want to be top manager in the hospital. So it's not about, I can teach you this, I can read this ECG, I can teach medical students. No, they want to see managerial skills. Can I handle human beings? How can I coordinate them? So I have to keep doing that. So your CV must be right. You must be applying for the right post, and just wait for them to call you for the interview. And it requires skills. Show people your CV, and then they can tell you where you will be, where you can improve yourself. The other one is the designated body. So we've always had these emails about designated body. Yes, it's an automated email from GMC. If they keep on asking you for designated body, you can reply them to say you are not currently working in the UK, hence you do not have a designated body. But the equivalent to a designated body is the head of department wherever you work in Nigeria. So they can tell you, okay, you're still in Nigeria, send your designated body. Your designated body or designated person will be your, so your designated body will be your hospital, your designated or responsible officer will be your head of department. So that sorts question one out. What advice do you have for people who have been in the UK with gaps in clinical practice? Yeah, if there's been gap in clinical practice and there's nothing you can do about it, there's nothing you can do about it. And this takes me back to a few of our guests who had the same issue. There was a lady who came from Canada, and she had quite a significant time in out of the practice. And she passed the exam very well, but she was very open. She told Bobby, mentioned it to me, and I said, okay, let's see what we can do. And because we've had this kind of relationship, you see, everywhere it's all man, no man. It's always you can never take factor out. That's why networking is important. So we saw someone and we said to that person, there's this person, very nice lady, this is da 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 da. Say, oh, let me see the CV. Oh, let's add this here. Because you've gone on maternity leave to have your family, shouldn't count against you. So before we knew what, that person would look at the CV, recommended her to the lead employer in our department. And she just called us to say, thank you very much. Those people have called me for interview. I said, just go and prepare well. And she got the job. So what I'm trying to say is there's a bit of luck in it. And sometimes hospital is also desperate. Say, oh, forget about gap. Just, you want to work for us? Start. Yeah. So at that point in time, you're not looking for the creme de la creme hospital. You're not waiting for guys and St. Thomas, all the big ones. Just get into the system first. As soon as you start a job of 6 months or 1 year, the gap in clinical practices disappear. Then you can say, now I want to work for guys at St. Thomas if that's your dream. Then you go for it. Well, at the first one, no. I remember my first job in the UK, the email I wrote to them was, can I come for clinical attachment? And they said to me, send your CV. When I sent my CV, they replied to me, what clinical attachment do you need again? We have a job. And that was it. So they told me about the job before they advertised. So there are factors to it. You may be lucky. I think I was lucky then. I came on holiday and they said, do you want to visit the hospital? I said, yes. I got there. They took me around and I was seeing a lot of new operations for the first time in my life. They took me to each theater and they just told the anesthetists to tell me what they were doing. And at the end of the day, they just asked me, do you want to work for us? And it was a shocker for me because I was still thinking, how will I fit in clinical attachment? But they said, do you want to work for us? I said, yes, I want to. And that was how we took it off. February to April, everything was done. So there's an element of luck also. Just pray, leave the rest. Do your best and leave the rest to God. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you so much. Yeah, so we're going to round up soon. If there is nothing, there is no other question. Let me see. Yeah, the link has been sent to you for registration. Please register. Like we said, it's not because we want to put a gate fee or something. We just want to know the amount of people to plan for so that we'll provide everything for you. So yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, please drop your questions. Yeah.
And always remember, when you come over to the UK, there are lots of problems, which is not unexpected. The best scenario will be coming alone. But if you cannot come alone, well, it is what it is. Come with your family. But just be ready because, you know, when you are alone, you can storm the weather better than when you come with a family and kids. And I just didn't know where everything was just upside down when I was there. The food was not for me. The weather was not for me. I was always looking confused in the first 2 months. So I was happy that I came alone. Having said that, if you have anything to do in Manchester access, and accommodation is also one of your issues, we have been able to help a lot of people out. So we just say, okay, you're still looking for somewhere to stay. Yeah, give or take. How long do you think you want to stay? We will then arrange one of our houses for you, maybe a month or 3 weeks, as you wish. Whilst you're doing that, you can then visit other houses. Now, there's another thing about landlords in the UK. Once they hear that you're from abroad, they say, I'll give it to the next person. Because you want a guarantee that somebody can pay. It takes courage to put your trust in somebody who has not been in the system. So what we do in that regard is, even though you've spent 2 weeks with us, we write you a letter to say you've stayed with us, you've been a good tenant, no antisocial problem, you've always paid your rent as at when due, and it just puts you in a good light with the UK landlord, because it's like a UK landlord to another UK landlord. You know, they can always call us to say, how is this person? And also the letter for embassy too, they know our number. They can always call us to say, this person is coming. We are not sure about the visa. Do you guarantee? We say, well, person has booked with us. We would ensure everything goes well. We are ready to receive the person. And please kindly grant the visa. And I would say more than 98% have been successful. A few people have been unlucky. For some people, you never know why they will still deny them visa. So that's all I'm going to say for now. Thank you.
Good. Thank you again. And good. It's already 7 o'clock, and we've come to the end of June 2023 question and answer. I want to thank you all for coming in the midst of your very tight schedules. You created at least 1 hour for this. So thank you very much. Please take note of all the announcements you've given. Our next month's program, we'll still have the Q&A next month, but before then, we'll have our annual BaloSegha, the first ever Hangouts. Please register. Send to all invite people. Don't come alone. Don't come and chop alone. It's not good to chop alone. So please just invite someone. Let's have fun together. Let's network and let's meet and let's form a wonderful, very good community. If after now, like we always say, you remember a question, that's not a problem. Just send an email to balosegha@yahoo.com. Just put in the question in the subject June Q&A, and we'll be more than happy to answer your question. Yeah, that's the email address there, and we'll be more than happy to answer you. So thank you very much on behalf of BaloSegha. We say thank you. We'll see you next month at the party and also at the Q&A. Enjoy your evening. It's still sunny out there. And follow us on all our social media platforms, IG, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and subscribe. It's BaloSegha, and we'll be more than happy to get that sorted out for you ASAP. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, just drop us an email. We'll be more than happy, to do that for you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you all for attending today. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, just send an email. We'll be more than happy to answer. So we just finished up this month's program. If you're in the UK next month, come for our party, come for our get together to be lovely seeing you all. So thank you, and enjoy your evening then. Thank you. Let me just stop recording now. Yeah. Stop recording.